So let me kick this off with two questions. One, how many kernel developers raise your hand? How many do run the integration test on kernel? Right? Yeah, okay. So a few. So great, this talk is for you. And those of you that walked into the wrong room, this talk is for you too. And I'm going to start by telling you a bit about what LKFT stands for. I didn't manage to fit that in. It stands for Linux Kernel Function Testing. And the mission is to verify the Linux kernel, the stable release system does. So I'm going to try to talk and express how we have made the Linux kernel to test it faster, make it more reproducible, and less of a chore. My name is Roxell, and I work for Linaro. I help chase kernel bugs and fix them. And also, I'm working on these open source tools that make testing less painful and kind of fun. Let's be honest, it's really fragmented kernel testing community, and it's new. It often treated as an afterthought. And I guess some of you have been there. That it works on high config, and you send a patch, and then a couple of days later you got a few regressions on it. And that's not really great. So the problem is we need to get a quicker feedback loop. So we spend hours building configs, tweaking scripts, taking config files from old emails, and so on and so forth. But there are testing systems out there, like LKFT, Kernel CKI, Syscore. But many of us still just create a patch, send it to the list, pray and hope for the best. But with that said, most kernel engineers want to do more tests. They want to run more tests. But the setup friction is real, and you need infrastructure, you need hardware, and you need a lot of power, which most of us don't have. We would like to test every push, and we want to be able to do that either locally or in the cloud. And it should be easy. It should be easy to set up. So I would like to explain how that can be done with LKFT's infrastructure. But run that locally. So what exactly are we trying to address? It's not just about running tests for that sake. We need a way to make the test, to make them accessible as well and usable for kernel developers. Testing shouldn't require labs, big farms, DevOps teams. You should be able to plug it into the workflow with a single push. That should trigger tests as well. So basically, no more writing custom scripts That should not be needed. And this time I would like to say you're not alone anymore. You get the same access to the same tests, same infrastructure as LKFT has. Faster feedback loops to catch regression more quicker. We aim for minutes, not hours or days. Everything that we do is long version and reproducible. And the pain points I've been talking about, they are really had them in the beginning of when we started LKFT. Sadly, but most of them have been fixed now. So here are a few components that we use. Most of them are Python wrappers. So, for instance, make is the tax make is a kernel builder. We wrap a bit of Python kernel make and a runtime, so you can reproduce easily your builds. And we have tools. We have GCC, Seal, and Rust works, other books, all the different versions. And it clean out the mess. And after that, Taxfund takes over, which is a thin wrapper on a project called Lava, which is a scheduler for real or virtual devices. And we support we have curated virtual system and test suites, like LTP, event unit test, RT tests, and so on. And we keep on case, all of them are curated and used. So it's more or less a fire and forget test suite for the code. And if you need to go beyond virtual hardware, we have a project called Roxell, which generates the Lava job definition files with where to pull the artifacts from and how to run the tests and so on. Then we have another project called TaxBake, which is wrapper on the bitbake to make it easy and also reproducible locally and in the cloud. And we have a bitbake shouldn't maybe not need to have a wrapper on it, but you don't need, with this wrapper, you don't need the manifest file and everything. You can write that in YAML instead, and so we could look at it all in the cloud. So if you just want to build, you can use TaxBake, or if you want to build and test, you can chain them together in an easy way. And we've created this ecosystem of kernel testing tools to make testing faster and more accessible and reliable. And it should not only be for CI system, it's for everyday developer as well. And here we have a few more. I mentioned now a bit, and then test definition is for where we store all the tests that you can run on your bench when you develop them as well. So why should you trust these tools? They are no prototypes. They are not a side project. They are battle tested at scale. So last year we actually tested a bit more than 400,000 kernels, and we tested over 3 million devices, virtual and UTs, and ran more than 200 million test cases. We reported over 100 regressions on LTS kernels, and when we report, we include a reproducer for the build and the test, so it's easy for anyone that follows the mailing list to download those scripts and run them, and get exactly the same test failure as we see. So now I'm going to tell you a bit about TypeScript plan, which is just a YAML file that defines what you want to build and or test. And you can think about it as a blueprint where you have builds, test runs, test suites, code chain, and it's all fairly clean and descriptive. Now let's see how this connects to with the LKFT GitLab plugin that we created, so any kernel developer or tester can push to their own tree in GitLab. So what the component is for is to bring everything you've seen so far into one pipeline in a developer-friendly way. So what you actually have to do is point this one in the settings to that YAML file, and out of the box you can, when you push on anything, you get the pipeline trigger, which this watches the common tree, and when you push anything, the trigger builds and tests the default plan that we have, which is a few different builds and numerons that just works in GitLab. The component makes use of tax make and tax run, and for the local execution, everything in the default plan, as I said, just works out of the box. If you want to run a custom plan instead, you don't have to do much. I shall the command here what I did when I want to run it on a drop type 4 for the cryptography action. It's just a simple git push option. It's designed for speed, simplicity, and reproducibility. And you get the same automation that LKFT uses, but we use it at scale. Is some difference between run it on GitLab owners or submitted to GitLab. We support both local and cloud execution. We can run anything that LKFT runs in terms of tests, and if you have your own hardware, you can plug that in as well, if you want. Which makes it super flexible. And that should be the key, to make it flexible enough for anyone to be able to do what they want. And then, if you do the cloud, it's scalable as well. And that's good if you have a lot of heavy workloads you want to run. I'm going to be a bit more technical, but not that much, because it's quite simple. When I was playing with this presentation, I did set up this pipeline and let it trigger the industry. Sorry. And I actually found a regression. Yay, super happy. And that made me not sleep for another 2 hours. I was planning to go to bed, but no, it didn't happen. So I instead started to bisect it. And it was super easy. I did it locally because there was a boot issue, I think. Was it tested? I can't remember really. Maybe it was a test in the smoke test. LKFT smoke test. Anyway, I did exactly this command. I took the bad SHA and the good SHA, and I ran this tax route plan execute, which executes it locally, and pointed at the plan file, and then I went away for 40 minutes, and then I got back and I had the bisect load, and I just reverted that patch and tested, and it wasn't that problem, and then I reported it, went to bed, I was thinking I should fix it the next day, but someone else did it for me. So that was great. Here's the same, but with taxmate and tax1. And why I show this is you can, as you can see here, you use a command called results hook to taxmate, which means that you can send another command into that. And when you do bisect, and you do the bisect step, then you go into building the kernel, and then before you return to bisect, you run the tax1 command to run your tests. And then if the test fails, it returns 1, and then propagates back up to Git, and Git says bad, and you move on to that. But the interesting part here that I want to highlight, which I didn't write, is that you can actually throw results hook to tax1 as well. So if you have a warning in your boot, you can rep for that warning, and then when that triggers, you say 1 and you return everything. And that's super powerful. Launch.
Right. Thank you. We have lots of time for questions, so if you're prepared, just fire away. Don't fire away, raise your hands.
You repeated this word cloud. I wasn't sure what exactly it was. Is that the service you are selling, or what is it?
That is a service that we are using inside LKFT, and I think we are selling it as well. I need to check. I would say yes.
Right, thanks. questions? There were more hands over here, I think.
In your overview slide, you have this line going down to the GitLab runner where you say exactly tax suite local. I'm a little bit confused about that because I mean I'm aware you can run it locally, but tax suite local sounds to me like it's not in the cloud. I mean it is, but yeah.
Yeah, no, right. It's local on the GitLab runner.
Okay.
It's on the GitLab runner. The other part is, as you said, the cloud that I didn't mention.
Okay.
Or was.
So how can I...
And it's the cloud that spins off, and you can, as I said, we spin off 400 builds and 2,000, I think, I didn't say 400 builds and 2,500 boots every kernel commit, every RC that pops out. And we get the results back within an hour, 45 minutes an hour.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Yeah.
So I think it was interesting you mentioned you found 116 regressions in LTS kernels. So if you're a distro maintainer, a kernel distro maintainer, what kind of testing do you think you should do before you push a new version for a distro kernel? And how would you solve that problem?
I think distro kernels should base their kernels on LTS kernels. That would be the first step, right?
Yep.
And then add as little patches on top as possible. They should be sent upstream.
And that should be good enough?
That should be good enough, yes. And if not, then they need to collaborate with us and other kernel testing projects and add tests so they get tested.
Okay, that's reassuring. Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
So for this local, I mean, that is the most accessible if you have specific hardware that you care about, because I guess you can't have all the hardware in the world. Can you elaborate a bit about the setup, like what kind of tools are behind it? Because I mean, for automatic testing, you need, I don't know, power cycling, a way to, I don't know, bring the kernel towards the board and so on. Like you need some automation around that, and I guess that can vary wildly. So can you just give a quick overview of that?
I can do that, yes. I can explain how we do it in LKFT. We have this Lava Lab that I briefly mentioned. It's a project that schedules jobs to different hardwares. And we have these Lava appliance, automation appliance devices that we hook in the different boards into, and they talk with the Lava server, and they solve power cycling and all of that for you. So that's the easy way. Otherwise you need PPE, you need to set up, I would set up personal Lava server if I had my own devices. But that's a separate talk, but I can give you some pointers if you want how to set it up.
Okay, that's okay.
Do it make sense?
It makes sense. So you would need to look into Lava, how it works,
Yeah.
and to set up your own lab. Like that is what basically.
Yes, if you want to run it on your specific hardware, or you can use one of the LAAs, but you can do it completely on your own as well with Lava. That's not too tricky.
Then how accessible is that infrastructure to others? Like not to big companies, but to like a volunteer contributing a patch and wanting to test it?
If you set it up on your machine or in your network, it's with the LAA, they hook up to the main server and you decide where it gets accessed and to whom. If you do it on your own, then you need to ask LKFT, Kernel CI, can I hook in my lab to you?
Okay.
All right. More questions? Everyone wants lunch? There will be lunch right after this, out in the foyer, just like yesterday. Everybody wants lunch. Thank you, Anders.